All right, first and foremost, I want to give all glory, honor, and praise unto my power, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai. Shalom to the elders of GMS. Today's lesson titled Rental Market Crisis Pushing Many to Homelessness, right? Because we see the state of the economy, we see everything that's going on, rising cost of inflation. Now, with these rental prices, like a lot of people are actually turning to, renting their homes and whatnot. And usually people that would normally, get mortgages from the bank to actually buy houses because these interest rates are going up so high, it's becoming very, very expensive and out of reach for a lot of people. So now it's causing a lot of people to actually, go ahead and, pursue, rental properties now or apartments and different things like that, which is driving the price up, among other things as well. And people are experiencing, a lot of rental rate increases. They may have been paying $1,300, and then the landlord can come out of nowhere and just say, "I'm increasing about $500." Where you see a lot of that over there in New York, where a lot of people are paying like about 68% of their household income going straight to rent. So I want to show this just to further show you that Babylon the Great is done, man. This place is over, and there's no coming back for it. So just a couple of quick clips, and then we're gonna get to the precepts.
Of millions of people are truly on the edge of homelessness. A major difference between the current housing market and last year's housing market is that now the bottom 90% of the population is paying 30% or more of their income on rent, meaning that almost everyone in America is cost burned by rent prices in 2023. It's the first time in history that an overwhelming majority of renters spend so much of their monthly pay on housing alone. New research by Moody's Analytics found when the firm started tracking housing affordability more than 10 years ago, the average $50 to $1,950, increasing the rent from $1,550 to $1,950, a 26% increase that Guerra said meant her rent would account for the majority of her take-home pay from the University of Miami. "I thought that was insane," she stressed. "Am I supposed to stop paying for everything else I have going on in my life just so I can pay rent? That's unsustainable."
And that's like, honestly, through the spirit, that's what the Heavenly Father been having me bring out a lot lately. Americans, like these Americans in America, is really in an unsustainable situation. This just shows you, right? And I just can't stress it enough. This shows you that we are at the end. This place is about to fall. A Great Depression greater than 1920s. I think it's the end of 1920s, 1930s. A greater depression than the Great Depression in America is coming, man. And ultimately, that's going to lead to America's destruction, right? Among, other things like, of course, the ICBM missiles and the hypersonic missiles, which is prophesied in the scriptures to happen, and destroy America in 1 hour, right? So I'm going to play this part, and then we're going to get into it.
Conducted by Jacob Haas, a research specialist at the Eviction Lab. We've seen in recent months an increase in eviction filings in the areas we track, sometimes back towards pre-pandemic averages and sometimes worse. Eviction can be a traumatic, destructive experience for the families that face it, he wrote. In face of all that, it isn't surprising at all that Goldman Sachs predicts that landlords will evict 750,000 U.S. households in March, according to Bloomberg.
That's just in March, 750,000 evictions. That means, out of all those people, some people might have some people to stay with. A lot of people don't. A lot of people that, where, if they getting evicted, they trying to go live with somebody else. That person might not have enough room or might not have enough to go around. It's to the point where a lot of people are actually feeling this cost burden, right? So you see that what's going to happen is they're going to realize that the things that are essential for life, like it says in Sirach, the 29th chapter, the 21st verse, or I'm going to grab it real quick, Sirach 29 and verse 21, it says, the chief thing for life is water, bread, clothing, and a house to cover shame. You need those things, right? So once they realize that these things are completely out of reach, right, what's going to happen is like, if you watch this video, you'll see like it's a lot of different protests about even like cancel rent
The
payments and
firm
whatnot.
also forecasts a rental price growth of 8.4% in 2023, and that's on top of previous increases. It's important to note that this figure will soar even higher as the economy deteriorates.
I forgot where I saw it at, but basically like, they're having protests about like canceling rent payments, like, and you see that's going to lead into what? Sedition, man, right? So I'm going to grab this 2nd Ezra chapter 15, and it says, verse 5, it says, "Behold, saith Adonai, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword," which a lot of people are dying, right, through crimes and, violent crimes or, on the uptick, right? It says famine, and the sword can come through war as well. Famine, death, and destruction. So ultimately, a lot of people are going to go hungry as well, because at the same time, people are choosing between paying for food and paying for housing. Now you're having to choose between the chief things that you need for life. That's not a sustainable situation, right? So these people are going to uprise. These people are going to, commit sedition, right? It says, "For wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and the hurtful works are fulfilled," right? Yes, because wickedness has, gone forth out of this place. Now the Heavenly Father is sending his judgment, right? 2nd Ezra 15 and verse 16, this is the point. "For there shall be sedition among men," meaning rebellion and uprising, right? So it says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall not stand in their power," right? That's the point, right? And you see this real seditious spirit all throughout America, Babylon. Like for real, for me, like the first time I've actually realized it, is when that whole George Floyd thing was happening. Now I was living in Philadelphia at the time, but I'm riding through the city, and this was my first time as an adult seeing like riots actually take place, like right before my very eyes. I've actually seen, like people, going in stores, and like I'm talking about by the boatloads, like it's like 50 to 100 people just trying to run into a sneaker store and just run in there, and sneaker stores being lit on fire. Walgreens, people just going in droves, just going in and snatching stuff. Talking about cell phone stores, I seen it all, like firsthand, and that just showed me how reckless and how real it's going to get during Jacob's trouble. I seen that. It was like it had me perplexed. I was like, "Oh snaps, this is happening," right? So you see that real seditious spirit, that uprising spirit, all throughout America, and they really don't regard, the law here at all anymore, right? And I have this right here. I had a couple things like, just to show you, right? This happened over here in Austin, right? Austin, Texas, like a day or two ago. I think it was like over the weekend or whatnot. But they was drag racing. And you see, this is happening all throughout America, where they back the police up out of there, How long you think the police officers going to continue to deal with that, right? There's another protest with the Pfizer headquarters place. They protesting outside of there, right? Was another one. Yeah, this that drag racing stuff again. There's another one. Where is that? Drag racing. This is the one in Lebanon. See, this is happening all over the world. It says it's popping off in Lebanon. The currency has been destroyed, and the people demanding their money. Right? This is crazy. This is what you see. This become the new norm, man. Right? Yeah, over here in Paris, you got thousands of nurses and doctors protesting. This is the new thing, protest, sedition. That's the new thing. That's what everybody's doing everywhere. And a lot of people are actually doing it in these other countries too, because inflation is too high. You've seen what happened in Sri Lanka, man. All right, yes, I believe that's it. Right, yeah, that's it. But so I'm gonna go back to 2nd Ezra 15, right? It says 2nd Ezra 15 to 16. "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able," right? It says, "For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." Why is that? Because people are going to be ransacking each other's homes, stores, businesses, all of those different things, man. Grocery stores. You're going to see that on steroids, man. Right? It's going to be George Floyd protest type, type time on steroids, right? Because ultimately the people, it wasn't everybody, and it was really a lot of young people that was, tearing stuff up and tearing the different cities and, stores up all, nationwide for the whole George Floyd protesters, and riots and whatnot. But now it's going to be, other groups of people, people with families, hitting to the streets and robbing and, doing a bunch of, crazy stuff so that way they can survive. Right? Everybody's going to be in on it. Not us of the household of faith, because we ought not to partake in things like that. We depend on the Heavenly Father to provide for us in those times of trouble. Right? So reading on in verse 19, it says, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." You see? So, and you see that's like, it's not going to be this how it once was before, when in hardships and, in a time of Great Depression, people were helping each other out and whatnot. No, it's not. It's none of that. Why? Because we see right here in Matthew, the 24th chapter, it says, "And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold." Right. So a lot of people, right, if you see now the whole in society, in American society, everybody's really cold one to another now. Like that whole time of, knock on your neighbor's door and asking for some sugar, that time is gone. I remember when I grew up, I got the tail end of that, where I had to, like, my grandma sent me next door to go ask the neighbor for some sugar and stuff like that. And they gave it, where your neighbors would actually look out for you and be like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna tell your grandma," and stuff like that. And, the kids outside, we playing curveball and hide and seek and, freeze tag, and we playing, wall ball, actually playing outside. And, it was, your parents talking about, "Oh yeah, well, if you're in trouble, you can't go outside." That was the punishment, not you can't use your iPad. You know what I'm saying? So, but basically just saying that time is over, right? Just a little reminiscing. 2 Ezra 15 and verse 19, it says, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." Right? And that's the point, man. And that's really what the Heavenly Father is bringing upon these people for their pride, man. And he's revenging them for their pride, man. Right? Like it says right here, 2 Ezra 8 and verse 50, "For many great misery shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked with great pride." Right? Why? How is it that they walk with great pride? By turning away from the Heavenly Father. Now they have to mourn. Right? Now they got to go through it. Right? And you're going to see a lot of people turning their backs on each other, man. Right? Like it says right here in 2 Ezra, the 6th chapter, and verse 22, it says, "And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown." So what are these sown places? Like the markets, the food stores, grocery stores. It says, "The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty." And we're starting to see preludes to that happening now with these supply shortages, but it's only going to get worse. Right now, it's still in a somewhat stable situation, but it's going to get worse, right? And you see, even back in 22, everything was gearing towards, 2023 is going to be real bad. A lot of cutbacks, a lot of shortages, and we're in that time now, right? We're almost out of February. It's like, what, 8 more days, right? But this is the point. This is what I wanted to read out. Verse 24. It says, "At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of fountains shall stand still, and 3 hours shall they not run." So that's the point, man. Friends are going to fight against one another like enemies, showing that what? Because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, and bringing to life that what? That one prophecy in 2 Ezra, the 15th chapter. It says, "Man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods for the lack of bread and for great tribulation." So these things are coming, man, right? And these people are going to be in dire straits, man. They're going to be through, man, right? So we take good heart that, the Heavenly Father's with us, so we ain't got to experience the things that these people experience, right? Because like it says in 2 Ezra, the 2nd chapter, the 27th verse, it says, "Be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance." Right? So that's the point. And these people, they're going to be sick, man. Right? So I'm going to read this in Isaiah 24 and probably end off here. Isaiah 24 and verse 8. It says, "The cheerful sound of tambourines is stilled. The happy cries of celebrations are heard no more. The melodious chords of the harp are silent. Gone are the joys of wine and song. Alcoholic drinks turn bitter in the mouth." Why is that? Because now it's not for joy anymore. It's not for a turn up. It's not for a celebration. It's for mourning, right? So now when you drinking that drink, now it's bitter. Why is that? Because ultimately you're trying to drink your pain away, right? And that's what these people are going to suffer from. Verse 10, it says, the city's writher in chaos. Every home is locked to keep out intruders. Mobs gather in the streets crying for wine. Joy has turned to gloom. Gladness has been banished from the land. And that's what the Heavenly Father is bringing upon America, Babylon. And that makes us happy because we want to see this place fall. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and end off there. I sincerely pray that you sincere hearted true believers were edified, exhorted, and comforted. We are at the end. This is just further proof and, just more exhortations to show you that we here, man. So let's do what we got to do. Just keep chanting down Babylon. Keep showing good works. So that the Heavenly Father can be pleased with us, man. In all truth and sincerity, let us show good works, and let's rock out to the kingdom, y'all. So we here. All right. Give all glory, honor, and praise unto my power, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai. Shalom. To all you sincere hearted true believers, man. Shalom.